Hey guys, this is Ayush and welcome to another video guide. This one will be on preparation for the matrix homework assignment with the user-defined matrix with all the user-defined vector and vector iterators and those crazy classes. So yeah, let's get into it. So I made a sample program. This has a bit of similarity to the actual one, but also it deviates a little bit. So it's not fully giving you the answer, but it should be, if you can understand this, then it should be pretty helpful. So what we have is a vector class, and then we have a matrix class, which inherits. It kind of. I'll explain this in a second. It kind of inherits from the vector data class. And we have our driver code, so that you can have vectors and pass in the vector, like make a normal vector, and then pass it into the vector data class. And then you can create a matrix, and the matrix you can push back some instances of vector data, and you can do some computations. You can also, I also put in the matrix colAt function because I know that's a little bit of a tricky one. So yeah, I put in the colAt function, and I'll go over that in a second. So what I did here, let's start with the vector data class. It inherits from the standard library vector of integer pointers. So that way, the compiler knows that we're already, like, whenever we say things like at, it knows that we're talking about a vector of integer pointers. So I don't need any member variables because it already kind of has, like, it is kind of automatically assigned with a member variable, which is this vector. You can think of it that way. So we have our delete function to delete all the, delete every index. And then we also, of course, typecast it to an integer pointer. And it's very important to note that this actually holds, integer pointers. Just note that. And then rowAt, we have to dereference it. And then append, you have to, of course, convert it to a new int to convert it to an integer pointer. Use new int. And then the operator and print function. And so the matrix class has a vector of these objects, and you can think of it as this being like kind of like a member variable. So whenever we say at, we're basically doing this thing at something. So when you do rowAt, it's pretty simple. For colAt, note that our vec data class is holding a vector of pointers. So that's how we can access the actual underlying column. And so if we use this and modify the column, then the actual matrix column will be modified. And all we have to do is we just have to keep on pushing back these pointers. So I believe that the pointer is getting copied when we do the pushback. We're making copies of the pointer, but the memory address being pointed to by each pointer is still staying the same. So we basically have a new vector of pointers, and this vector, each pointer points to the same thing as the original pointers were. Yeah, so then we return this instance of the vector data class. And so hopefully that makes sense for my explanation of colAt. It's the vector data holds, it's pretty self-explanatory as long as you know that this is full of integer pointers, so that makes it really easy. And then, yeah, that's basically the whole program. Then we can, of course, push back some arrays. And then, although you can think of the append function, like I used append, but you can also do I could have also made like an operator equals, so I can do row1 equals r, and it's still the very similar concept. And yeah, so that was my introduction to the user-defined matrix class. Hope this was helpful. I hope that this was helpful, and thanks for